We will come back out of closed session. Mr. Terpstra, can you please read us out of closed session?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The council did convene in closed session. All members of the council were present during the entirety of the session, and beyond that, there was no reportable action.
Yes, some of us were early. All right, can we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight with gratitude for the gift of the community and an opportunity to serve one another. We thank you for the city of Ripon and its people, its leaders, and all those who labor each day for the common good. We thank you on the eve of Veterans Day for all those that are currently serving and have served to make this country what it is. I pray for the members of this council. Grant them wisdom, clarity, and unity as they make decisions that impact our neighbors and our families. May their work be marked with integrity, compassion, and a genuine desire to seek the welfare of our city. Bless this meeting. May it be productive, respectful, and guided by a spirit of cooperation. May we all in our various roles be reminded of the privilege and the responsibility of leadership. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. No kidding. All right, Lisa, can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Leo Zuber.
Present.
Mike Restucia. Dean Euchre.
Here.
Vice Mayor Gary Barton.
Present.
Mayor Daniel DeGraff.
I am here. All right, public discussion. This time is provided for the public to address items that are not on the council agenda. If you wish to speak, please come forward, state your name and address, and go ahead.
My name is Emil Guillermo, longtime resident, and the first poet laureate of Ripon. I've been gone for a few months, and one thing I've discovered, as you leave Ripon, you learn to love it more. And so today I want to read two short poems. One poem is, if I get my screen up here, one poem will mark Veterans Day, which we celebrate tomorrow, or actually people are off tomorrow. And it was part of the first trilogy of poems that I wrote when I first was named Poet Laureate of Ripon. I'll read the second. And this is second of To Veterans of Ripon and Beyond, 3 short poems for year-long service. This is poem number 2. Reynolds, Rodriguez, Smith, Mulder, Von Prague, Netherton, who is your veteran? When did they fight? The first big war that didn't end all wars, the second one, the great one, the big and little ones, past, present, oft forgotten. Where did they serve? Asia, Europe, the Middle East. Young, old, did yours survive? Did we remember them when they were alive? Or did they come back to the standard cold shoulder? Speak their names now before it's all over. Ernie Mabalan, Filipino guerrilla, fought off the enemy with a slingshot. FDR offered citizenship to fight beside U.S. GIs. His service ended with the regular army, returned to live and start a family, worked the fields in the Central Valley. Honors came posthumously in 2017, winner of a congressional gold medal, Ernie Mabalan. James Robert Amok, a colonized Filipino drafted into battle in World War I. In France, he won the Croix de Guerre. He ran amok for America. On this day, we honor them all. My veterans, yours, our veterans, whose service allow us our beliefs, our actions, our freedom. We remember them all, more than names on the wall, their mission, their lives, their duty. Walls normally divide us, but not a veteran's wall in Ripon, where patriotic pride and grief commingle. And that was one of the first poems that I wrote, the very first poem I wrote. It's been a year that I've been the poet laureate of Ripon. And since there has been no others and no real protocol, I took it upon myself to write a short poem which will describe the state of poetry in Ripon in 2025. It's like a small version of the State of the Union address, but in poetic form. So, the state of poetry in Ripon 2025. Free verse is still free, though you may rhyme if you wish. In Ripon, poetry lives wherever words are applied to elevate experience. What did you see, hear, feel? A poem makes it all come alive. Our town we see in a different way. Even the recycling place where things are renewed, made useful again. Even a city council meeting where poetry is the rhetoric that redeems. So I thank you for my first year of service. It is a 3-year term, I remind you, and it's not term limited, I don't believe. But I appreciate, and it's been an honor being your poet laureate, the first one of Ripon. And as I like to say from the very first time that I spoke to you, there is poetry everywhere in Ripon. Thank you very much.
All right, anybody else wish to make a public comment? Seeing none, we will move on to approval of the minutes. Do we need to do these separately or can we do them both at the same time? Okay, let's just do them together if that's okay. The regular meeting of October 14th and the special meeting of October 30th.
Move to approve. Second.
I can't call for a vote. Okay. Approval of the agenda as posted. Anybody wish to pull anything off consent calendar? None. Okay, that seems rare for us, but okay. So approval of the agenda as posted.
Second.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Can't call for a vote again. Oops. Okay.
That was pretty good.
Motion to approve the consent calendar as posted.
So move. Second.
Motion is second. I can't call a vote. Seems to be the common theme tonight. Okay. That is the end of the consent calendar. Resolutions. Resolution A. A resolution of the council directing staff to initiate the Proposition 218 property owner notice. Is this Kevin?
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There was a workshop that we had with the city council on October 30th. At that workshop, we reviewed the draft recommendations from the consultant who prepared the water, sewage, and garbage rate study report that's dated November 3rd, now dated November 3rd. And that covers what the proposed increases to the 3 enterprise funds for the next 5 years. That's 2026 to 2030. The results or the direction from council from that meeting have been incorporated into what's in front of the council tonight in this item. So just a real quick review of the process to increase utility rates. This is required under Proposition 218. Like I mentioned, there was a workshop that was conducted actually October 30th. And then tonight is the approval of the engineer's report and also the resolution of intent to begin the 218 process to increase the rates. If there is no majority protest at the public hearing, which is set for January 13th, these rates would go into effect for the next 5 years, starting on February 1st, 2026. The staff is also working to send out the notices to the property owners and customers of record. By law, they need to be delivered 28 days in advance of the public hearing. Just real quick, the policies of the city as it relates to enterprise funds. These are the 3 funds, water, sewer, and garbage, that are operated as independent business type accounts where customers pay for the services provided through these funds. Each of the funds has an operating fund and a capital reserve fund. The operating fund is where the salaries, benefits, electricity are paid, any bonds associated with that enterprise fund. And then there's also a target balance that's maintained as required for debt service and if there's any emergencies that comes up. And then a certain amount of the rates collected go into a capital reserve account. This is where we pay for the replacement of various capital items, trucks, equipment, generators, et cetera. So we go through this process every 5 years to ensure the financial stability and the consistency of services to the public. We also try to do incremental changes that are needed every year to keep up with the economic changes and avoid a large one-time increase if they're not incrementally done. And then the other stipulation that the council added probably about 10 years ago is these do not automatically go into effect. The council does review these each year with a financial report to determine if the full rate increase is needed. If not, the council has an ability to impose less of an increase. So I'll go through each of the funds and what is being proposed. The Water Enterprise Fund over the next 5 years, a 4% increase is proposed. This would allow the city to collect the necessary rates to keep up with inflation while maintaining the current service levels. And then some of the changes that are incorporated into the revenue need is there is 2 wellhead treatment systems planned on 2 of our wells, and then an additional maintenance worker to support those treatment systems. That's part of some of the operational changes. And then transfers, there's about $1 million a year that's transferred to the replacement of groundwater wells, water meters, vehicles, and the necessary maintenance required to the overhead tanks. And in this graphic, the important thing also, and this is the same on all the graphics, the ending balance, the actual ending balance each year is the black line on that figure. And then the red line is the target balance. So you can see for most of the years, the ending balance is higher than the target balance, except the last 2 years, they're very close. Sewer Enterprise Fund, very similar with operational changes. These are needed to keep up with inflation and maintaining our current service levels. The one difference with sewer is there is a transfer that, a capital transfer to a reserve account for future wastewater treatment plant upgrades. Currently, the wastewater treatment plant is operating under a 1994 waste discharge permit. Obviously, the level of treatment on newer permits is much more stringent and requires a more advanced treatment system, which is very expensive. So the council 10 years ago put a policy in place to start collecting money to fund at least a portion of that upgrade that's going to be required. As it mentions in that second bullet, the amount, we started off a fairly low amount, and then that amount is increased each year by 10%. At this time, it's projected that 75% of the existing customer share of those upgrades will be collected. So this fund has 3% increases over the 5 years. And then you can see the ending balance is above the target balance throughout that period. And lastly, garbage. This is one of the funds that has really been impacted by some of the regulatory changes from the state of California, the biggest being compliance with Senate Bill 1383. This is the legislation that required jurisdictions like Ripon to reduce organics in landfills. Every city has taken a different approach to that. We had a lot of discussion how Ripon was going to meet this requirement while providing the lowest cost garbage service to our residents. it was decided that we were going to bring the black cans to a high diversion facility where they actually split the solid waste into different streams rather than doing a 3-can system. We're fortunate because of the proximity from Ripon to this high diversion facility that made sense rather than for us, a more expensive option was to do a 3-can system. But this legislation did result in higher expenses, specifically in disposal fees where we're taking the solid waste to. And this started in our last 5-year rate study, and it really impacted the ending balance. You could see in fiscal year 25, that first year that's not in the proposed rate study period, but you could see that the ending balance is very low. The problem with this is if an emergency happened, like a garbage truck catches on fire, which has happened, it happened a few years ago, the money would not be there to replace a capital item like that in that type of situation. So a lot of discussion when we had the workshop about how to mitigate this. So what is currently in the rate study report is a 20% increase in year 1 and 4% increases for the next 4 years. What this does is it allows us to make the transfers we need for planned capital replacement. So we assume a truck is going to be needed to be replaced every 8 years. That's included in the planned capital transfers. But as I mentioned, if an emergency happened, the way our capital fund is right now, there would not be sufficient funds to pay for a new truck. So what this proposed rate increases does, it gets you that target balance pretty close to it in year number 2. In fiscal year 26, 27, we get fairly close to that number, and then you're at that number the next year. So this would be a 20% increase in year 1, and then 4% the next 4 years.
Kevin, I just wanted to clarify something. So the working life of a truck is 8 years, but we'll be replacing trucks more frequently than once every 8 years.
Yeah,
So
we always assume 8 to 12 years is the working life, but in the study we assumed 8 years would be the capital replacement, which would be a worst case scenario.
I know you're going to move on to another, but I like where your ending balances are. And the way I would look at 29 and 30 is that excess is kind of some reserve money.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Yep. So when you combine the proposed rate increases, you can see the cumulative effect on this slide. In the first year, it would be a total of a 9.5% increase for all 3 utilities, and then 4% a year thereafter. So in the first year, it's about 100, and we assumed these bills based off an average residential customer of using 16 units of water, sewer service, and 1 black can and 1 green can. So their monthly bill right now is about $123. It would go to just under $135, and then you can see incrementally what it does over the next 5 years. In the last year, if full rate increases were implemented in the last year, it would be $156.59. So one of the things I mentioned earlier is the city council does require staff to come back every year with the financials of each enterprise fund to determine if the full rate increase was needed. So the red box is the 5-year rate period from 2016 to 2020. During that time, you can see there's fairly larger rate increases that were approved during that time. Not all were fully implemented. In 2019, instead of 11% increase for the water fund, there was a 2% increase. And in 2020, the water fund was also approved for 2% rather than the 10%. So council made those decisions based off the financial data at that time. And then as far as the sewer fund in 2018, 2019, and 2020, the amounts that were actually implemented were less than what was projected. All 3 of those years were projected to be 10% increases, What was actually approved was 5%, 0%, and 2% during those times. The next 5-year period, much less rate. The rate increases were smaller as compared to the previous year, and it was also following COVID. But you can see all rate increases were implemented as proposed. And then lastly, this graph just compares Rippon's proposed rates to the two cities nearby us. This is Escalon, Riverbank, Manteca, Oakdale, Modesto, Ceres, and Lathrop. So when you look at the total utility rate increase for water, sewer, and garbage, Rippon's, what we're proposing to start in February 2026 is 11% lower than the average of the cities surveyed. Our water rate is right at the average, sewer is 50% lower than the average, and then our garbage rate is 20% higher than the average of the cities surveyed. And that's what I had. Happy to answer any questions.
I don't have any questions as a comment, but appreciate pointing out that the increases are not guaranteed. They're not set in stone. They're reviewed every year. And, history shows that we've made the decision not to increase them just because they're there. Their increases are there because we need them. Appreciate that point.
I just have a comment. I appreciate the way you put that together, Kevin. I mean, this is something we need to keep up with because of state regulations and a lot of different things. And, we went through a lot of detail at the workshop and before that, and you guys have taken basically, how do we meet the requirements at the least cost? And I think that's what you've done. And I think you guys have done a good job. And none of us like seeing costs go up, but water, sewer, garbage has to pay for itself. And so I think you guys have done the best you can. And I appreciate that, you and your staff.
Thank you.
Kevin, since we have the general manager of SSJID with us tonight, maybe just mention the capital accumulation for future connection with SSJID.
Yeah, so right now we are collecting funds for that project from both new development and then we are part of our transfer of enterprise funds, the capital is for the SSJID connection.
Any further comments, questions, Leo? Nothing?
No.
No?
So all we're doing is adopting this resolution, which in effect starts the process.
It starts the process, but it also approves the rates as projected, as long as there's not a majority protest on at the public hearing.
Then I'll move to approve the resolution.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. I cannot call a vote. All right, moving on to the next one, designating city administrator as a hearing officer. Kevin, you want another role? Tommy wants to.
Actually, this one's going to be me, Mr. Mayor. And thank you. So yeah, I'll just keep this one pretty brief, but this is more of a cleanup than anything. As you guys may be aware, the city does have an ordinance that regulates dangerous animals and allows the city's animal control officer to issue orders to owners that impose various levels of control over animals that are deemed to be dangerous in order to protect public safety within the city. Owners have the right to appeal these determinations of the animal control officer to the city council or the city council's designee, and that's the big distinction here that we're here to talk about. Typical practice in the past has been to appoint hearing officers that are impartial to handle these appeals. But what we want to do is just essentially clean up that process and have you formally delegate that authority to the city manager or his designee, his city administrator, or his designee to handle those appeals, just to facilitate efficiency in the council's operations. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, but that's the conclusion of my report.
Makes sense. You need a motion?
Any questions? No? Kevin, you want another job?
I move we approve the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, moving on to public hearings. Development agreements. Ken?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, fellow council members. It's that time of year where we do our annual development agreement review. The Planning Commission reviewed all the active development agreements, which we have 6 that are considered active at this time at their last Planning Commission meeting. They did have a public hearing for that, but at that time, nobody stepped up to voice any concerns. Staff did review all the active agreements, and all the developers of those agreements are in compliance with their development agreements. So this is serving as the Planning Commission's report that they've reviewed this to City Council. It is a public hearing, I'll remind you of that, and there's a recommended action. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the council? No? All right, it is a public hearing, so we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. Is there anybody from the public who'd like to speak? Yeah, Kelly, you got lots to say on this one? No? Lisa, did we receive any public comments online? All right. Seeing no one wishing to speak on this item, we will go ahead and close the public hearing and proceed to take a vote unless there's any further discussion. Seeing none, is there a motion to?
I'll move to adopt the annual review.
I can't call a vote. There we go. Okay, moving on to B, zoning text amendment, electric vehicle charging stations. Ken, what have you got for us here?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, fellow council members. I'll keep this one hopefully short here. Before you tonight is a proposed ordinance to create a chapter in the development title, chapter 16.218. The electric vehicle charging station ordinance. This ordinance is required by recent state laws that mandate cities streamline the permitting process for EV charging stations through a ministerial review process, meaning qualifying projects must be approved without a public hearing, provided that they meet all the requirements. Currently, city processes these projects through either a minor site plan or a major site plan that goes in front of the Planning Commission, which no longer meets the state requirements. So the new ordinance brings Ripon into compliance while maintaining our local oversight for safety, access, and design standards. The Planning Commission did review the draft ordinance at their October 20 meeting and held a public hearing and unanimously recommended the City Council adopt the ordinance as drafted. So staff has recommended the City Council open the public hearing, receive any public testimony tonight, and then in the next item on the agenda would be asked that you would waive the first reading and introduce the ordinance. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, is any questions, comments on this one? So there's no actual action on this item other than receiving we don't need to take
Yeah, the
action.
action would be on the next item. So yeah, no action on this one, just public.
Okay. All right, well, we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing on this one. Anybody wish to speak on this one? Any comments received online? Someone's got to say something. Kelly, you got to have something to say about electric vehicle charging now. Okay. Well, seeing no public comment on this, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and take those comments and make our decision on the next item. Thank you. Okay, Ken. You need to explain any further?
Nope, no further. This is the ordinance that we just described, so.
So we're looking for a waive the first reading and introduce the ordinance, correct?
Correct.
So moved. We have a motion, is there a second?
Nope. I was just trying to decide whether I was gonna race to get myself in there.
Yeah, you should have. All right, discussion items, a memorandum of understanding with SSJID. Kevin?
Yeah, I could give a brief history, and as you mentioned, Peter's here, and I'm not sure if you have a presentation or just available for questions, but a little history on this item. SSJID has been pursuing retail electric since 2004. The city of Ripon passed a resolution in 2009 supporting those efforts. They did go to LAFCO, which required SSJID to allocate 2.5% of gross retail revenue or in lieu of franchise fees, subject to terms of agreements with the various cities in the county to replace that revenue. So what you have in front of the city council tonight is a memorandum of understanding that does confirm the SSJID obligation to pay these in lieu franchise fees. Once SSJID secures possession and ownership of the electric distribution system, the city will work with SSJID to enter into a more formal agreement. So with that, if you want to add anything, Peter, or council has any questions.
Good evening, council. I'll just add a few remarks. I don't have a formal presentation, but I'm here to answer questions and just give you a brief update as to where we are with our retail electric project. SSJID's goal from the beginning with our retail electric project is to deliver locally owned, operated, reliable, affordable, and safe electric service. And in doing so, SSJID has remained committed to providing electric service at rates that are at least 15% less than PG&E's, which will provide millions of dollars back to local residents, businesses, and governments. SSJID's effort has now spanned 2 decades and continues to be an epic battle. In summer of 2016, in this very room, SSJID held a day-long hearing to consider purchase of PG&E's electric distribution assets in what was called a resolution of necessity hearing, which was a precursor to an eminent domain case. Since that time, 9 years ago, after SSJID filed that case has been dismissed, reinstated, scheduled for trial, and in 2024 deferred to the California Public Utilities Commission, where PG&E sought the commission's review of the project. All of this has been an effort to delay the implementation of SSJID's project. Good news, a couple weeks ago, actually, October 30th, the California Public Utilities Commission issued a proposed decision to dismiss SSJID's or PG&E's review application of our project. That means the PUC will only consider a review now until after the eminent domain case is resolved in San Joaquin County Superior Court, which for us clarifies what was a very nebulous and could be 2 to 3 year review period. At this point, I think that will be expedited to some extent once many of the details have been worked out with the condemnation court or the condemnation case in San Joaquin County. That decision reinforced CPUC's position and SSJID's that the court must first determine whether SSJID can legally acquire PG&E's assets first. Only then will the commission evaluate the public interest implication of our project. So barring any appeal by PG&E of the PUC's decision, we will find that out by the 17th. We hope to get back to trial as soon as possible, hopefully in 2026. Regarding the MOU, SSJI, as your city administrator, Kevin, mentioned, the plan includes a 2.5% payment of gross revenues to backfill any loss in franchise fees or property taxes from the county and the cities within our local jurisdiction. That plan was baked, and that condition was baked into LAFCO's approval of our project. This MOU is furthering that commitment more directly between SSJID and the city of Ripon and commits us to future negotiations regarding SSJID's future electric service within the city. And so we appreciate your support of the resolution and consideration of the resolution. We know it's essential for our continued efforts, especially as we prepare for trial. In the meantime, we are continuing to update our studies and get ready for trial, an eventual trial, which will hopefully be soon. Here to answer any questions, and thank you.
I have a question. This may be really too soon, but a lot of people have been asking me about this for a long, long time. I can count the number of houses in my neighborhood that don't have solar. So the question is, will that be similar? Do you just assume those solar agreements that everybody has? Do you even know yet? I said I'd ask. And
yeah, I believe we will have to honor those net metering agreements that are currently in place with the solar customers.
All right, good.
For the term of those agreements.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I was told them I'd ask, so thank you. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Any other comments? Well, thank you for being here and appreciate adding value and being here to take questions and look forward to lower rates someday.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Hopefully in our lifetime.
Yeah. I plan on being around for a while, so hopefully in my lifetime.
Whatever we can do to help.
We do need a motion to approve the
Memorandum, I will happily approve the memorandum of understanding.
I will second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All right, moving on, San Joaquin Partnership. So Kevin, do you need any introduction? No, okay. Yep. Okay, we'll let him have at it then. Thanks for being here.
As if you didn't have enough to read already, we brought you some more reading material. What this folder is part of is all the different partnerships that we are associated with, different sectors that we are teamed up with, whether it be the iHub or GoSJ, which is our training program that we're helping to administer, and then also with San Joaquin Partnership, and then our newest publication is coming out in December, but this is our volume 2, which is just wrapping up, and there's some significant data in the report that we'll share tonight that shows the touches and the other areas that we're impacting with getting out the voice of San Joaquin County, which includes Ripon. So we'll go ahead and talk about that as well. But first I wanted to thank the mayor and council for having us here today. And Kevin, thank you for the opportunity to be here to share our message. I'm going to start off with a quote that I recently read. San Joaquin County offers a vibrant blend of opportunity, community, and natural beauty, making it an exceptional place to live, work, and grow a business. With its strategic location, skilled workforce, and a support for innovation and entrepreneurship, the region provides an ideal environment for families and companies alike. That's going in volume 3 of our newest publication of Livability, which will be released December of this year. That quote came from your economic development director, Ken. Ken, thank you for that comment. I think it embodies everything that we are working towards and have been for the last couple of years. Ken did cap off the quote with, Ripon is proud to be a part of the thriving area where quality of life and economic vitality go hand in hand, which we totally agree with at the San Joaquin Partnership. And we did provide a slide, some slides, and I don't know if you can go to those. You'll see our mission statement to enhance the quality of life for our communities by recruiting and retaining good paying jobs in San Joaquin County. It's been an ongoing theme of ours and mission since we began 34 years ago. Go to the next, please. Our vision statement, to develop and promote a high quality of life and high-wage jobs for the residents of San Joaquin County. We do this regularly by looking at investment opportunities from businesses, whether it be the residents of Ripon that benefit from that because they live here and get to work in our community, or whether it be a new businesses coming into town that we want to recruit and retain here, and also provide training opportunities or training growth for their employees. The San Joaquin Partnership looks at 2 different customer types. Of course, our members like you, cities, counties, businesses, and organizations, and then of course our would-be clients, site selectors, brokers, businesses of interest, and convention attendees. And I'll get to that last one here in a second. This is our board of directors as it currently stands. We're looking for a secretary. If one of you would like to join the board and become that, happy to have you there. But this is encompassed of all the municipalities here in San Joaquin County. Of course, the board of supervisors, the port of Stockton, and then Lewis Gale, who was our chairperson from University of Pacific, Mary Elizabeth, who's our vice chair, and Susan Deloso, who's our prior chair. And Gary, thank you for being a member of the organization, council member. Go to the next. Thank you. This is our team. We have myself as the interim CEO and president, and then we have Raina DeKasha, who coordinates messaging with the city on a regular basis. She's our chief operating officer. Then we have Ed Winkett, who's done a lot of work here in the Ripon region. Ed is our director of economic outreach and industry relations, a job we created about a year and a half ago. And then we have Brad Ecker, who also does a lot of work interfacing with the city, and also our site selectors. He's the director of client services and real estate. Our partners, like I indicated, that are in the folder here, we have the iHub of San Joaquin. We talk about innovation, it starts with the iHub. We've been a member of that organization since it was founded in 2013, and we continue to serve on that board as the treasurer of the organization. But most importantly, it allows us the opportunity to be discussing and involved in innovations in construction, healthcare, agriculture, things that matter to the residents here of Ripon and those in San Joaquin County. So we spend a lot of time working with different organizations to promote that, whether it be educational institutions or trade organizations. We also hold an innovation summit annually, and that's been traditionally held here in South County. The last two were in Manteca, and this next year may be in Stockton in March. GoSJ. GoSJ was founded out of a need to market CTE programs here in San Joaquin County. It wasn't for a lack of programs, it was for a lack of marketing, that would-be trainees didn't know where to go and get the answers for the skill sets they were looking for, whether that be an electrician or a machinist or some other EV charging station providers. All those were considered when we were looking at all the different training programs that were in San Joaquin County. So we got together with some of our other partners, the Delta College, WorkNet, County Office of Ed, ourselves, and we decided to develop a website that reflected all those different programs and created a one-stop shop for folks to go into one portal, so they didn't have to search all over the place by Google. They could go to gosj.org and find all those programs. Then those programs go straight into their own portals where the trainees can go ahead and access the program, get set up in the cohort, and then we get to track the data for the students that go through that program, so we can answer the call for industry and business to see where those students may need a job. So we really do the hand-holding from the education and the marketing side to also getting them a job. We've been co-branding GoSJ with the San Joaquin Partnership for the last year since it was developed, so that we could go ahead and promote that to site selectors. One of the key indicators for site selectors right now is be able to, not only do you have the workforce, but can you train a workforce? Can you train a workforce for the industry that I'm trying to bring to your region? And this really gives us that vehicle to do that. North Valley Thrive is a 3-county region organization. It was developed out of California Jobs First, or formerly known as SURF. For those of you who've been following this for the last couple of years, the organization has materialized into being able to afford grants into our region, some here in San Joaquin. Mainly about $2.5 million has been invested here in San Joaquin County to promote the biocircular economy, for example, that would help our agriculture community here in Ripon and surrounding areas, and other innovations in climate resilience, and also when it comes to electrical vehicles and things of that nature. We also have the training programs that are promoted through this as well, through Volt Institute, that's just in south of us in Modesto. And for those that don't know, Volt Institute has a program called Volt on the Go, which allows for industry professionals and employers to reap the benefits of certification programs that they put together right on site for their own cohorts. GoBiz and the Governor's Office of Economic Development. We spend a lot of time with GoBiz looking at opportunities for San Joaquin County. Again, that may not be reflected directly towards Ripon and Ripon properties. It may not have enough industrial lands to work with to be competitive in that sense, but we do have residents that live here, and we want to make sure that they have adequate jobs and high skill wages to go with that. Team California is an organization that we're a part of. We're on the board of directors for. Ed Winkett holds the board seat for that on our team. It's a statewide organization that markets California. We spend a lot of time, and you'll see in the slide deck when you get a chance to review it, all the different locations that we go to as a result of being a member of Team California. So Ripon is always represented when we go to those events because we're wearing the badge of all the cities and the county here in San Joaquin County. CalEd allows us to understand best practices when it comes to economic development, new regulations, as you were talking about before, even when it comes to utilities. We get to hear firsthand how those are going to impact the economy locally, whether it pertains to jobs or to industry. So we try to be ahead of the curve. Most recent one that we did was born out of the city of Stockton, actually became a statewide ordinance, was related to warehousing. And so we spent a lot of time advocating for the development community and those folks in industry that were going to be impacted by that. And we were able to come to some good concessions as a result of that. The Central Valley Economic Development Corporation, this is a longstanding organization at 8 counties wide, from Kern County up to San Joaquin County. It's a one-stop marketing organization that reflects the Central Valley's needs in industry. And we've been a part of that organization for the last 12 years. California Forward, this is a really unique opportunity for San Joaquin County. We just held the first California Economic Summit hosted by Cal Forward and a local regional committee that I was able to co-chair with the other 2 counties of Stanislaus and Merced. And we brought about 800 professionals here to San Joaquin County over a 3-day period. We were able to give them tours of San Joaquin County. We held tours at the Port of Stockton, the airport, which is our regional airport here for the county. And I'll get to that one in a second as well. And then also down to Stanislaus with Beam Circular and Volt Institute, so folks could hear more about what they were doing there in the biocircular economy. New California Coalition is a statewide organization, mainly of business associations and elected officials throughout California. They look at policy that's impacting the business community. They try to advocate for the needs of both small business and big business that are looking to promote jobs and that are impacted by the economy, whether that be out of Silicon Valley or here in the Central Valley. We bring hosts on monthly to talk about budgets that are happening at the state level. So we've had the state budget chair on the line in the past. We've got policymakers that have influence on the areas that we benefit from. 3 years ago, we started to do a strategic planning session. This is a great opportunity to hear from our membership and our board of directors as to what direction we're going, what changes could be made, what tweaks could be made, and what's working in the organization and what's working out there in marketing, what we're hearing collectively. So we focused on a couple of main priorities that I wanted to share today, which are, of course, board engagement, ensuring that our board is up to speed and knowledgeable about what we're working on. Of course, the services, which are in your packet this evening, that we provide as an organization in economic development. Funding streams, we'll get to that in a second again, but your traditional funding streams are through membership and investment. We're looking outside the box now to look at other ways to fund the organization's mission and produce results for our members. Industry engagement and collaborative partnerships, that's exactly what's driven us to groups like GoSJ to be developed, as well as North Valley Thrive and California Forward, in order to have our economic summit here in San Joaquin County. And of course, marketing and events, which is where we spend a lot of our time around the country, going to very industry-specific conferences to learn more about how to bring new types of business here, not just industrial and warehouse, although we are the logistics heart of California and Northern California. We like to look at research and development opportunities. We're looking at drone companies that are in agriculture, air mobility, and others to help build the innovation around San Joaquin County and promote new businesses. As part of the iHub, one of the other benefits that we focus on, or what we have as being part of the organization, is to be able to grant dollars from the iHub that are from the Accelerate California grant that we receive annually. We're on our 4th year in this next year in 2026, where we'll receive another $250,000 to be able to grant out to the community. And this goes to incubators and organizations that help promote small business and build small business. And we've also contributed to Beam Circular, who again is one of those innovative groups that's being funded by VC organizations in Silicon Valley. and that we highlighted at our recent Innovation Summit. Stop me if you have any questions. It's a lot of information. A couple of things that we are a part of that just want to make sure that the council is aware of and that we share. We have an Industrial Asset Management Council event that we attend every year. We've been a part of that for several years, a decade and a half, I believe. That is an invitation-only organization in which you have major employers and investors from around the country and even global ones that are providing research and data and shared practices, and then also creating relationships and networking opportunities. We attend that with Team California, but we attend as our own member. Several members are from San Joaquin County. There's only two other that are here, and Lathrop and Tracy, I believe now. But we are our own member as a San Joaquin Partnership, so we represent you in that regard. We also attend the Team California Meet the Consultants event, which we just wrapped up this last week. It was in Contra Costa County. Again, a hands-on networking opportunity with professionals that deal with site selectors and business organizations that we can help promote the region in. One Voice, see many of you in DC every year, which is always a pleasure. Beating the drum for San Joaquin County, our infrastructure projects that are definitely needed to have an economic benefit and impact to our county. We'd like to be the voice of that benefit and express what that will do to our region in terms of commerce and support that. The California Economic Summit I already went over, as well as the other two that were listed here. So I've already gone through some of these things, but what's in it for Ripon? Well, as a member of the organization that you've been for several years, you have voting rights on the board. You also get a delegate and an alternate. So if one can't make it, the other gets to attend and do that voting practice. You get client updates from GoBiz and site selectors as they come up. And we always put Ripon in the packet, even if they don't have properties. We always have the data of Ripon in there so that folks can look at, maybe our employees want to live there. Maybe our executives want to live there. Maybe they want to look at quality of life as another opportunity for their business decision. We also provide government affairs support for funding requests on local and regional projects. So if you ever have a need up in Sacramento or in Washington, D.C., we're happy to do letters of support to make that happen. We're also the industry liaison. We have been through the last couple of years for California Jobs First in North Valley with North Valley Thrive. And that allowed us to engage with industry and companies that are here in San Joaquin County already, but understand, again, the byproduct of GoSJ is because of those relationships and that engagement. Marketing programs, we've got some great marketing programs that are going on right now. We're going to be launching some new ones as a result of the California Forward Economic Summit. We've got some great videography and some great photos that were snapped there, both from our reception, our tours, and then also from the event the week of. We'll be showcasing a lot of that again in livability. As I said before, Ken was gracious enough to provide a quote for us. We had every city provide a quote. Why San Joaquin was the banner in which that particular piece was written under. So we encourage you to take a look at volume 2 that you have before you, and also look at volume 3 when it comes out in December. We'll have that both electronically and printed, and give you an idea of some of that looks like from a data perspective, which is also in the packet here. But with the total data set that we have here, we had over 26,000 views from the website. We had 24,500 social engagement opportunities. We had 292,000 impressions and 310,000 total reach. So all these numbers are up from volume 1. You can see with total reach, we're up by 37,000. For impressions, we're up by 45,000, website views by 1,000, and social engagement by 13. So we're definitely having an impact on getting the message out about why San Joaquin and what we have to offer here. Some of the highlights that these articles were able to see on Facebook and LinkedIn. The first one for Q2 in 2024, 5 reasons to move to San Joaquin County. Q3 was celebrate the international flavors of San Joaquin. We did a big feature about all the different food operators here in San Joaquin County. Family fun things to do in San Joaquin County for Q4 was top rated. 8 things you must do in San Joaquin County. Explore San Joaquin County's beautiful waterways with these fun water activities. And finally, International Festival in San Joaquin County. So we're definitely doing a diverse representation of our county. Like I said before, Ripon is always a part of that conversation as being part of the cities that are here in San Joaquin County. So we look forward to continuing that partnership, building upon it. We'd love to see you guys in it in livability next year with a more of a feature piece. Just to give you an example, in this piece that's coming out, Manteca did a whole 3-page spread on their fez that they've been promoting, which turned out quite well. So, Ripon's got some great areas in its city. You've got Main Street, downtown, the homes and the developers that are here. We've done that for other developers in Lathrop, Stockton, and Tracy. We'd love to see you guys in there as well, getting showcased for being affordable and beautiful at the same time. So with that, I'll turn it over to the council and mayor. Thank you again for any questions.
Any questions, comments from the council?
Yeah, Bob, thank you. Just a general question. What is your sense of the temperature of economic activity and potential for additional growth in the industrial base of our county?
So that's one of the reasons, Councilmember, thank you for the question. That's one of the reasons why we're diversifying our portfolio of services, is because we do see that trend lightening at the moment. A lot of it has to do with tariffs and the cost, but we're seeing a little bit more interest in food processing and manufacturing at the same time. So we can't say that it's all a wash, but we can say that it's slowed down a little bit in recent months.
Anybody else? No? I would just like to say thank you. It's been a while. The Economic Development Committee meetings that we have monthly, it's been a while since I've been on that, but it was always interesting to hear the different programs that Ed's working on, and the availability of these programs for training the workforce. And while it's maybe not relevant to some of us, it's in the businesses we have, it's relevant to people in our community that work in the businesses they're getting trained for. So and appreciate the reminder on those things. I know there's a lot that goes on that maybe we don't know that's out there, and then sometimes it's we're not looking for it, so we're not seeing it. But I think the only comment I would have is do more to reach more people. If it's I know there's a lot of ways to reach people these days, and I know you're obviously the slide, the amount of engagement you have on the things that you have been sharing. So appreciate that, and thanks for coming.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We want to make a motion.
Yeah, does anybody like to make a motion?
Yeah,
Gary?
Mr. Mayor, I'll move to approve the partnership fee for this year.
All right.
Second.
A motion and a second. It actually lets me call the vote and then wait for a second. So, all right, the motion passes. So thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Lisa, audited financial statements.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The audits for the City of Ripon and the Money Purchase Thrift Pension Plan for the fiscal year June 30, 2025 have been completed by Price Page and Company. These audits are completed to fulfill requirements placed on us by state agencies and our bonding agencies. We use an independent third-party audit firm to ensure we are in compliance with all the laws. They review many of our transactions, our internal controls, and other policies to form an opinion on the financial statements. The City of Ripon audit is a combination of all the finances of the City of Ripon. So in the packet for the meeting this evening, and to make the audit easier, I have provided a staff report that gives a high-level financial summary of our position as of June 30th. If you want more detail, you can read in the audit which is called the Management Discussion and Analysis. And if you still are not um, completely fulfilled, you can continue to read into the audit for further details. There is no action required this evening. We will include a resolution to accept both of these audits on the consent calendar at the December meeting. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions?
Just a
Mike?
quick comment. Thank you for the summary, very helpful. And the audits say present fairly. That's all I care about at that point. With your summary, good job.
I feel like Mike usually has more to say about this, but anything else? No? All right, we'll move on to reports from department heads. Chief?
Yes, Honorable City Council, I did want to report out on some future developments at the police department. I was going to wait till a future date, but based on some recent conversations, I did want to let you guys know. In the near future, I have decided to assign one of our patrol officers to serve as a full-time motor officer. This is based due to increased, as you guys all know, volume of vehicular traffic and hazardous moving violations. I think it's going to be a wise allocation of resources. They will also concentrate on e-bike, motor scooter, golf cart violations, and other traffic enforcement problems that we have throughout the city. Traffic enforcement remains one of the #1 requests from our community. And they will also be assigned, this unit will also be assigned to handle traffic collision investigations. And one of the real significant things in this position they will be responsible to pursue traffic safety grants, and that will help fund equipment such as a possible police motorcycle, radar trailers, and DUI checkpoint resources and other traffic related items. So, and other than that, I have nothing else to report.
Good. I think from about 3 o'clock to about 6 o'clock, they can sit on 2nd Street and the overpass and write tickets all day long. So that's good.
Can you say who that is going to be, or is that quiet for now?
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah. Did you ask if it was going to be?
Who is it?
Oh, no, we haven't
okay.
actually assigned it yet. I have a date in mind, but and I'll keep you guys apprised of that. But yeah, we don't have the exact person yet. But good question.
Any other questions? No? Guy? Nothing to report. Nothing. Ken?
Just really quick, we have one item that the planning commission will be considering on next Monday night. We were looking at a potential rezone on a couple buildings on Main Street near Robert Avenue and Main Street. So if you'd like, come out and join us.
All right. James?
Yes, real quick, 2 quick things. The water usage for the month of October was 20% lower than our 2024 number. We have switched over to 1 day a week watering. So even addresses are on Saturday, odd addresses are on Sunday. And then our free brush pickup is ongoing to January 7th. So that's it.
Excellent.
I have some. I realize we've only been into the new schedule for 1 week. I still find it, I drive around town and there are a ton of yards that are soaking wet on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Yeah, and this is a big
A lot of
switch over.
people haven't switched over yet.
Right, and we've actually added patrols. We've got public works employees going out at night. So we'll be doing that for the next 2 or 3 weeks to hopefully get their timers.
What time will they be in Leo's neighborhood?
Come anytime you want. Get that little Prius, Leo?
Yeah. Yes. All right. Thanks, James. Tom? Kevin? Mike?
Yeah, the only thing I want to say is tomorrow's Veterans Day. Thank a veteran when you see them, and we'll have an event at there will be an event at Veterans Hall tomorrow at 10:30. So anybody that can come and show your respect to the veterans would be appreciated.
Dean? Nothing. Leo?
I have one thing. It sort of builds off of what Chief talked about. I'm glad we're getting into the traffic because I was going to bring up golf carts. There are more of them around, and there are measurable number of times that who I see driving that cart versus the age that they're supposed to be causes me to wonder. we're having the same, I have a place up in Arnold, and they're having the same problem there, and they sent a reminder to us about what we're, and I was surprised, because there's one sentence in there, it says, under California Vehicle Code, golf carts may only be operated on public roads under very limited circumstances. Specifically, within 1 mile of a golf course and only on roads designated by local ordinance with speed limits of 25 miles or less. So if we're gonna get it under control, we may be looking at writing another ordinance, because places I've seen people riding golf carts don't fit within this. And that's state law.
I thought our existing law, our existing rules already were in line with that. Is that not the case? I don't know.
You put me on the spot as far as the city's ordinance.
Yeah, you need to
Fortunately, I have
know.
the entire municipal code memorized and ready to regurgitate verbatim. No, I am aware of that state law. I've actually had to present on this for other cities. Councilmember Zuber is correct. There are vehicle code that provisions that trump state, or sorry, city provisions, though the city does have a window within which it can regulate in this area. But yeah, that's something that we could obviously bring before the city council at its discretion for a future meeting.
That's all.
It's good. I mean, I see it too, but yeah. Gary?
Yes, in the minutia of our report, I just wanted to make mention of Michael White and Councilman Restucia for donation to the police department for new badges. It's much appreciated.
Agreed. Yeah, thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. Sitting through this lengthy meeting for us. So glad you guys stuck it out. Yes, it is Veterans Day tomorrow, so thank a veteran. Thank them all. Appreciate their service. With that, good night. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.